Are you like me and you hear a voice in your head? I'm not talking a split personality thing here. I hear my own voice in my head. You know, like when I get a good idea about something or when I'm trying to figure something out. When God speaks to me, He doesn't speak to me in a echoey King James voice.
Quicken thy spirit.
He speaks to me in my voice. And when the enemy speaks to me, he doesn't use a gravelly, foul-mouthed voice.
Hey, stupid, come here.
He uses my voice too. So how do we discern whose voice we're listening to when they sound the same? Well, God's voice will always be for me. He'll be encouraging. There'll be comfort there, hope. And He's going to speak to me realistically. And He's always going to be just. Let's say I'm praying to God because I recently sinned. Well, I might hear, "You're forgiven. I still love you." But I'm not going to hear, "Don't worry about it. It's no big deal. We'll just let that one slide." You know, I know people that have done twice as bad as you. That's the enemy. You see, when the enemy speaks to us, he's always going to steal something from us. You know, like you might get a thought in your head and you start obsessing about it. And next thing you know, he stole your peace because you can't get it out of your head. Sometimes he'll steal our confidence that we're even saved or that God cares about little things in our life. He'll always produce fear, worry, and pride. You know, be careful when we have something that's very self-pleasing. You know, a lot of times that will be our flesh, and our flesh is our enemy also. You know, you might have somebody who has all the good intentions in the world. You know, a believer wants to speak into your life and they say something like, "God's got really, really big plans for you." Now that sounds really good, doesn't it? But be careful of that because it's self-pleasing. You know, whenever someone speaks into our life, we have to treat it like it's prophecy. And prophecy always has to be judged. Okay? And the person who's speaking the word into your life, they should want their words judged because they want to know that they're hearing from God. If someone gets offended because you're questioning what they've said, it's probably not from God. You know, you might have somebody speak into your life that's lining right up with what you've been praying about. But you're wondering, boy, I don't know when I've seen this person in church last. Well, if you're questionable about something, you know what you can do? You can ask God to speak the same thing to you through someone else. He'll do that for you. You know, we can get in these weird situations where it's really hard to discern. Let me give you an example. Let's say my wife and I pray together every morning and every night. We go to church and we pray together. We pray for other people together. You know, but God's put it on my wife's heart to go pray for people and speak into their lives by herself. So on Sunday, she went and found a couple, and spent quite a bit of time with them. You know, she comes back to me and she's exhilarated. Right? She feels confident that she heard from God and she's just on fire. And I say to her, "Why did you go pray for them and not pray for me? I mean, are they more important to you than me?" Now, right off the get-go, my wife might feel like she's done something wrong because I'm her husband. She knows I'm a Christian and we're in church. But you know what you got to do? You got to look at the fruit of what was said. And the fruit of that was guilt. You know, I was trying to guilt her into praying for me. Right? Guilt's got a little tint to it, a dark tint, and that's shame. God will never guilt and shame us into doing anything. So that's failure number one. That was the enemy. Number two, there was a self-pleasing part of that. I said, "How come you're not praying for me? What about me?" See, that's the sign number two that it's the enemy. Whose voice are you listening to?